What's up, y'all? How we doing tonight? Let me hear some noise. To my white homies, if you're sitting in front of a black person, give them your seat. It is no longer 1930. I'm not kidding. If you're standing in front of a colored person, move. I'm not kidding. I love you. But this is our time, and frankly, I'm gonna be talking shit, and I don't want to get slapped. So I'm seriously not kidding. So I'm gonna keep playing until y'all move and give them your seat. I'm 100% not kidding. I love you all, but I'm serious. Stand behind them while I serenade you all. It's alright. I'm serious, bro. You know? Or at least give the option. How can you tell that a neighborhood is gentrified? You see a white lady running after 8 p.m. What's up, y'all? How we doing? Whew. I'm percolating, son. I'm straight percolating. So for those of y'all that don't know, my name is Michael Griffin. Thank you for coming out tonight. And before anyone else asks, it is not my birthday. I know it was a little confusing with the cake on the ads. I bought a cake just to make that picture, and then I immediately threw it away. Yeah. Yeah, man. I feel like as a black man, I should be able to frivolously litter and degrade things. Actually, I kind of litter by zip code, you know? If I'm in Dundee, I don't give a fuck, man. Anytime it says, historic neighborhood, they lynch some niggas there. You know what I'm saying? It's tricky, man. It's tricky, but yeah, I named this 27 Club because I turned 27 earlier this year in March 20th. Pisces, Aries. I'm fucking tired of people saying cusps aren't real. It's like, nigga, we're talking about signs from planets. Like, none of this is real. None of life is real. Like, chill out, But I named this 27 Club because there's a famous club of people that died in 27. They did shit that changed culture. But don't worry, I'm not trying to die. They all died at 27. I'm not trying to die, but there are parts of myself that I'm ready to lay to rest, Wow, this is a great crowd. Fuck yeah. I'm tired of fear. I'm tired of it. I feel it all the fucking time. Everywhere. As a well-read nigga, in Nebraska. I got many reasons to feel fear. But lately I've been thinking that fear might not be the most important thing to decide our behavior, our decision making. Maybe fear can make us forsake our values now and again. So hopefully tonight we can lay some fear to rest together. And I hope I'm not drunk enough to say something that might get me canceled by some people. It's tricky, bro. It's tricky. But I practiced a lot for this. I did some open mics with some people, with some white audiences. They didn't laugh at all. But I practiced a lot, man. I did. I practiced with my grandmother. Yeah, man, if you can make a fucking Depression-era person laugh, you know that Depression was bad when licorice was like a candy of choice. God damn, the economy's bad. Let's put sugar and blood and shit and mix it together. Herbert Hoover was killing this shit, bro. But when I was practicing for my grandmother, she was just like, that's funny, but my asthma. But 27 is interesting. It's super interesting. It's just old enough to notice your body's changing, but it's just young enough for old people to get pissed when you complain about aging. You know? Things change when you're 27. Like, I get really depressed when I see the youth do vapes now. You know, because when I was younger and they were vaping, I was like, we're all partying, bro. But now when I see a kid vaping, bro, you can tell how bad drugs are by the physical, what their body looks like. You see someone smoking a cigarette. I'm going to try not to fucking trip. You see someone smoking a cigarette, they're just like, yeah, dude, I know that band. You see someone smoking weed, they're just like, dude, I love Fleetwood Mac. I hang out with too many white people. But if you see a kid smoking a vape, they're just like, I love Tyler, the Creator. But yeah, man, my shits are different now. Man, I don't know why that got a woo. Thank you. My anus is very thankful for whoever said that. But not to be an asshole. Huzzah! But when I was a young boy, I could just have macaroni, cardboard, fucking saltine crackers, and I would shit every day at the same fucking time. But now, nigga, I be running and I drink coffee and a brick will come out of nowhere in my lower intestine. Like, I'm not into anatomy, but it's like, no? All right. But I think about things differently now, I'm a little older, I got a bottle of lube in my car. Yeah, I got it in my car so I can put it on my thighs so they don't chafe when I'm on runs. Like in the past, I'd done anal play. My anus. I'm a feminist, all right? All right? You know what they say. A pinky a day keeps the doctor away. You know what they say, And also, this is only partially a joke. I'm sorry if you get COVID tonight. I just want to straight up say that, man. But my perspective on things have really been changing the older I've been getting. Like I think about redlining, right? So much of the conversations about shit at a systems level. But I've been thinking about things a little differently. Like how it impacts us on an interpersonal relationship. Like how every black kid that's not raised in the black part of town at some point has had their racial identity questioned. Because when you think about it, segregation ended with Brown versus Board. So the burden of integration was on children. And I feel that myself, bro. I feel that myself. I am from North Omaha. Shout out for North Omaha. You know what I'm saying? For those seeing this on a video, that's where the blacks are. But I'm from North Omaha, but I went to middle school out west, and I always heard the same shit all the time. Michael, you talk white. Michael, nice glasses, you fucking nerd. Michael, nice polo. Did you get that from J.C. Penney's? And I was like, Mom, you bought me this. You have the receipt in your fucking hands. Are we moving to Compton, nigga? Shut up. Sorry, I got But yeah, man, my mom's my best friend. She is as sweet as can be. And like I mentioned, she's a doctor. She's a pediatrician. And when I was younger, I wasn't quite sure what a pediatrician was. I just knew that she helped people. But all that I knew was that I was home alone. I missed my dad. And I watched a lot of George Lopez. You know, that's all I knew. And so one time, we went to a Walmart, right? We were just walking, and then I fucking heard out of nowhere, "Oh, Dr. Phillips!" And then these little children ran towards my mom, and I saw her talking to them. And I was like, "Hey, Ma." I was an Italian 5-year-old. I was like, "Hey, Ma, who the fuck are these people?" And she was like, "Michael, I work with children." And I was like, "Wait a second, are you telling me that when I'm home watching George Lopez, you're cheating with me with other little niggas?" Ah! So I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, man. But yeah, I was raised by all women, you know? It was great. I was raised by my mom. I was raised by my sister. I was raised by my grandmother. And it had a huge impact on me as a person. And importantly, as a man, you know? I learned a lot of values. It never crossed my mind that a black woman couldn't be a doctor, couldn't decapitate a snake with your bare hands, because when you grow up in the Depression, you got to do real shit. Or couldn't teach you how to fight, you know? My sister taught me how to scrap, you know? But I also learned from my mom, from my sister, from my grandmother that you do not need to oppress others, to have domination over others, to be strong, you know? But with my mom and grandmother and sister, the most important thing about them is that it gave me the opportunity to feel tall at home. You know? I would just be, "Damn, thanks, y'all." You know what? If you keep clapping, I will have more cleavage. Just a heads up. You know, give me an opportunity to feel tall. Because with you all sitting down, looking at me, I get why tall people have confidence right now. But yeah, man, I'm a shorty. I'm cute, man. The reason I'm okay with being short is because I'm kind of muscular and kind of cute, you know? I don't mean to humble brag. I know where I stand. I'm not Michael B. Jordan. I'm Michael Griffin. But, you know, there are some people that want to put me in their purse, you know? And go on the red carpet, I think. You know, I'm okay with it. No. But what really helps, you know, if there are any insecure short men here, here's what you gotta do. Work with children. Find an obese 5-year-old. Challenge that 5-year-old to one-on-one basketball. And use your fucking elbows, nigga. You will feel like Shaq, son. All right? I'm just, you know, don't shoot the messenger. Don't get offended. Just, it's not child abuse if it's for sports and athleticism. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But my mom and my grandmother, they're the only ones that aren't okay with it, you know? Because, like, I'm shorter than both of them. So, like, I think they feel like they genetically failed me. And because, like, whenever they talk about my height, they always sound like those liberal white women in abused dog commercials. They're always just like, "You deserve a home. We're gonna have to get rid of your balls, but come here, little buddy. You deserve a home." I've been working on my flexibility lately, so I'm gonna be like this throughout the show, just to show you what mobility looks like. You know what I'm saying? But the real reason I'm chill about being short is because I was really large when I was younger. Like really large. I was a short, fat, black token. This was long before body empowerment or talks about DEI were a thing, son. And middle school was really rough. Middle school was rough. It was rough, man, because I tried to be a hooper, and short, fat hoopers have the heart of a lion. You know? But the biggest thing about middle school was just the crazy racism. I thought it was normal. It's not, you know? I was in middle school with fucking Tanner. And every day he would say lynching jokes. One day, he was just like, hey, Michael, my family got an Obama Christmas ornament. So every Christmas we can hang a nigger off a tree. There is a good ending, though. And the good ending is that Tanner is really fat now. I don't mean to body shame, but it's kind of cool seeing racists develop a slow metabolism, isn't it? It's about 80% of the reason why I have Facebook at this point. And Facebook gives me so much anxiety, man. I didn't share this at all on Facebook. At all, because if I had, I would have fled town. I would have Council Bluffs residence right now. It stresses me the fuck out because everyone's an activist on there and it's cool and shit, but I don't know. I want to journal more. You know, I don't want to. Sometimes you got to journal instead of post shit because it's public and we're angry and it's valid, but it's public and we can have ways to heal with stress because that's all I've been trying to do. I'm trying to heal with stress. It's hard. I've been traveling more now that I'm boosted. I was recently on Boulder with my best friend. It was a pretty good time. I saw Tyler, the Creator. It was lit as fuck. It was lit as fuck. And you know you're smoking a lot of weed when you smoke less in Colorado? You know, I was like walking around sober in the mountains, and I was just like, I think I'm depressed. I'm seeing a counselor, though. Don't worry. I'm seeing a counselor. It's cool. It's cool. I'm seeing a counselor, you know. But one thing that really blew my mind about Colorado is how everyone follows crosswalks. Everyone, you know? Like, I'm a black runner, and I'm not used to people following crosswalks. And so I would just walk, and people would stop, and it was blowing my mind. And it got me thinking, you know, everyone stops for crosswalks. That if a white dude shot up a grocery store in Boulder, Colorado, and his getaway car, he'd stop at a crosswalk. Because the right to life is more important than the right to being a pedestrian. And I fucked that line up. But you know what? Mass shootings suck. They do. They do. It's crazy. I personally do not get that nervous about mass shootings because I'm a black dude who runs for fun. You know, oh, I might die in reasons that aren't because of me. Whoopie-doo. Another day in life of a nigga, you know? But what do they always say? What do they always say with mass shootings? It's my Second Amendment right, brother. It's my Second Amendment right, brother. I need a semiotic because I got a tiny dick, brother. It's my Second Amendment, right? That's what they say. That's what they say, right? Okay, let's use that argument, right? Well, technically it says in the Second Amendment that you have to have a well-regulated militia, right? Meaning that if you have guns, there should be a group of people or some power to make sure that you can't murder tiny children or old black people with the said guns. Those are the most innocent groups in the world. You know what I'm saying? But what if the Second Amendment has a deeper meaning? What if the Second Amendment has to do with hurting black people? Well, I I'm not sure. Because as you know, I'm only 27. But luckily, we got a time machine on stage. And we could use it to go back in time to kill Hitler. But we're going to use it tonight to explore how the Second Amendment really happened. So let's see what happened there. Oh my God, James Madison, thank God I found you. It's me, Patrick Henry, a founding father, and I'm the governor of the colony of Virginia. And in Virginia, there are a lot of black people that we're enslaving, and there are actually more black people than there are white people. So if they do a slave rebellion, please give us the right to have our own guns, because the government, they're in the North, they don't support slavery, they don't give us guns. So please, add in the Second Amendment that we can have a gun so we can put down slave rebellions. And that's really confusing because I, Patrick Henry, am famous for the quote, "Give me freedom or give me death." But I have a tiny dick and I need slaves. Yeah. You know? Yeah, that could have been better. I agree, that could have been better. But, I'm really bad at acting as a slave owner. I thought about, method acting, catching a white dude and making him my slave. Don't worry, I wouldn't do anything bad to him. I just make him do the Macarena 12 hours a day. But it's tricky because the Second Amendment has to do with slave ownership, but we talk about it with defending ourselves. And that's what is confusing. Because everything that we learn is a lie. It's tricky. It makes it hard to navigate. The police are supposed to protect and serve, but they love shooting people, including white people, and they hate getting vaccinated. They protect and serve, but they don't protect and serve with issues that protect a lot of people, And that's what makes it tricky. As a black American, how do I fit into this? How do I use my compass when I don't know which way is north? Because on one hand, I'm black. And I can get shot for breathing, running, farting, smiling. But on the other hand, I'm an American. Which, when I was in school, I had a bunch of Indian roommates, and I was a little too surprised when they were into smoking weed. I didn't realize that I was taught Indians just don't smoke weed. I'm with it. It's weird. It's weird because we're taught generalities. As Americans, we're not taught that we're all in this together. We're taught everyone's the same and worse than us. It can lead to really confusing generalities that might not be accurate, Like we can't have Muslim societies that are democratic, But what if there has been some? What if there was a democratic Muslim society and the United States actually ended it? Well, in 1951, Iran democratically elected a prime minister. And he was really cool. He wanted to start social programs for the poor. But most importantly to the United States, he wanted to nationalize the oil. That meant that Iran would receive money from its own fucking resources. Isn't that crazy? What audacity. But of course the United States couldn't have that. So the United States knew that they had to have a coup. They had to get rid of this prime minister by any means necessary. So they created what was called Operation Ajax. And with Operation Ajax, they got rid of the prime minister, and then they put the Shah of Iran in power. And then this planted the seeds for the Iranian Revolution, which effectively ended democracy in the nation. All coming back to Americans. And does anyone know the name of the leader of Operation Ajax? Of course you don't, because you're not depressed on Wikipedia like me. But the name of this nigga was Kermit. Kermit. Like the frog. Did anyone know the name of his daddy? Teddy. Teddy Roosevelt and Kermit Roosevelt. Only fucking white evil people can make such cute names evil. You know? And so when I think about the United States role... Thank you. When I think about the United States' role in ending democracy in other nations for the sake of resources, it makes me, as an American, feel weird complaining about high gas prices. You know, like, oh shit, this devil oil is 30% higher, so white Nebraskans can travel 80 miles an hour while sitting down. But it's confusing, man. It's very confusing because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. You know, I feel like I'm just continually taking a shit and then putting contacts in my eye. I did that a few days ago. I was like, yo, nigga, soap better work. But it's confusing. I don't know what to do. You know? I did coke one time in the past because my employer is here. Not now. Well, I did coke when I got vaccinated. And then the next day I wore a mask. Like, and went on a run? Like, I'm gonna be healthy? I guess, nigga, I don't know. But it's tricky, man. It's tricky because, you know, the pandemic's happening. It's really hard to know what the fuck to do. My mom and I both work in healthcare. But even when we heard about the vaccine, we were both just like, nah, son. We got vaccinated, though. We got vaccinated. We did, you know, I do think that, you know, if you have the resources, you should get vaccinated. I do believe that. But, you know, I get white people don't want to, especially if they're black. I'm just saying, bro. Our life is a conspiracy. Why do you think they call it blackmail? You know what I'm saying? But it's tricky. It's really tricky. Yeah, that's some deeply philosophical wordplay. You know, why do they call it blackmail? It's tricky, though. It's tricky because, you know, we all have our belief systems. We do. And our belief systems guide our behavior. But, you know, our identities really change how we believe and what our behavior is. And it's been so interesting to see a lot of my pasty friends. I love you, but, you know. Gotta have sunglasses when I look at your skin in the sunlight, you know. It's been cool to see a lot of my friends finally understand that racism is real after George Floyd. You know, all it took was seeing a video of a nigga getting choked to death with a knee in concrete for 9 minutes. But it's interesting. But the more I think, I'm kind of happy that a lot of my white friends have white privilege. I am. Because seeing how some of y'all complain, I can say that if some of y'all were black or even brown, y'all niggas would have killed yourself a long time ago. Y'all niggas would not have made it off the boat. You wouldn't have, bro. You know, it's interesting. Again, I get it. But there's a level of, there's a certain level of fragility that I can smell like a bloodhound. You know? It's true, man, and if you don't believe me, there's actual proof to support this assertion, if you will. Did anyone hear about the guy from Boulder, Colorado, that lit himself on fire in the Supreme Court steps to protest environmentalism? Anyone hear about that? Yeah, clap to that. Okay. You know, I can support any person I can support any person that sacrifices himself for a greater ideal. I can, you know? It took courage to kill yourself for something you believe in, unless you're a white mass shooter, of course. But, you know, it takes courage. It takes courage. It does. My only question is, why now? You know? He didn't want to sacrifice himself for Tamir Rice being a 12-year-old and getting gunned down by the cops. He didn't want to sacrifice himself for indigenous child cemeteries that have been found. But it was the fact that the world's going to get worse sometime in the future. And he lit himself on fire? Don't fires contribute to carbon emissions? Like, if he really wanted to, you know, make a message, couldn't he have drowned himself in lead-infested water from Flint, Michigan? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. You know, we all have our beliefs. It's interesting, though. But, you know, it really is interesting seeing scores of white homies understand what it's like to die for something you're not culpable for. You know, to die because of a system that you didn't have a part of, killing you. You know? Because us colored folks, we're familiar with these waters. You know? We are. Because everyone has been fucked over in the United States who isn't white. Everyone. You know? And it really starts with immigration. You know, a white person making laws about immigration on this continent is like me beating up a kindergartner for being short. Like, nigga. Yeah, okay, all right, okay. But immigration, you know, it's made with laws in our nation. And it really starts with the Naturalization Act, which said that you had to live in this nation for 2 years and be Western European to be a citizen. Soon after, we had the Chinese Exclusion Act, which said that Chinese homies could not be in this nation for over 50 years. Even though the United States originally wanted Chinese folks here so we could exploit them for cheap labor. A more recent example is the Immigrant Reform and Responsibility Act, which stated that an undocumented immigrant that lives in the United States has to leave our nation for at least a year before they can be a citizen the correct way, clearly made towards Latinx folks. And when I think about how every person that is not white has had laws in our system to fuck them over, it really makes me sad. But one thing that blows my fucking mind is that all of these groups that have been fucked over in our system had one thing in common. All of these groups that have been fucked over by nation-owned slaves. Just like TLC says, let the water fall. That was mostly planned. I gotta practice my cardio. But that's the thing, y'all. My colored homies, this message is for you specifically. Of course you go through pain. Of course you go through oppression. But the difference is, your people came here as people that were oppressed. Our people, my people, came here as cattle. That is the fundamental difference between the black experience and other colored homies. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it historically, yes, people have been oppressed in history. I'm really trying to get this fucking thing from between my legs. Yes. You know? Parkour. Yes. Colored groups have been oppressed throughout history, but there has never been a time where chattel slavery was to deconstruct a group of people into an economic good. You know? You know how you trade things on the marketplace? like cattle or paper. That's what they tried to do with us. And yet we have Stevie Wonder. And yet we have Prince. And yet we have Nina Simone. You know what I'm saying? We're thriving. But we still see the ramifications today. We still do. Look at health. Every single health outcome is worse for black people. Obesity, asthma, and even opioids. Yeah, last year was the first year where opioids impacted black people more than white people. Wasn't it nice to have at least one thing that hurt the whites a little more? Wasn't it a type of medical reparations, if you will? It's hard though, because what can we do? What can we do? One of the best examples of this is, of course, mass incarceration, right? That's clearly fucking up black people the most. And under Ronald Reagan, the prison population actually doubled in one administration. How could something so evil happen? Clearly, this wasn't following science. Clearly, this is made to fuck over a group of people. But I think Ronald Reagan made a deal with the devil. And it went like this. Hey, Ronald Reagan. I heard your idea for mass incarceration. That'll really, really fuck black people up. But that plan is so evil that you must sacrifice one white woman to the justice system. Here's O.J. Simpson's number. He'll know what to do. Man, I wish I could have been there. I really do. Holla at your boy while I take a water break. I do. I wish I could have been there, man. I just would have been back in court like, that's for Emmett Till, you white bitch! I see the laughs came from the blacks on that one. It's like a little melanated stereo up in this house, you know what I'm saying? But, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Clearly, I identify as a feminist. I don't want to offend anyone, but I guess the only people I defend would be white women, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. It's true. I am, but I don't want to delegitimize sexism, what people face, because clearly it's exceptionally real. My men in the house, or non-women, I want to be inclusive. Think about your worst dating experience. Think about how you probably didn't get what you wanted. It's not like that for more than half of the nation. All right, is real. Sexism is so real that you can be the leader of the most powerful country in the world, and then you have peasants that create colonies in far-off lands. And then what do? They create a country and a colony, and at their meeting with naming it, they're just like, let's name it Virginia. I wonder if our queen's a virgin. That's how powerful sexism is. Was T.I. the leader of that expedition? Just kidding, T.I. would have been a slave. But sexism is very real, man. And I think about it quite a bit. I do. And largely with how my fam raised me, I first was taught about periods from my mom in a drive-thru at Wendy's. But, I learned about menstruation at a young age, and it blew my mind. Most importantly, because I learned that not all bodies are like mine. That's a very important thing for a man to learn. Just not everyone's like you. And it really carried itself with me. And that's why I identify, it's dramatically changed how I view many things. But, that's all that I would say on social media. But the real life story is that after learning about periods, I had an idea on April Fool's Day. I would get a pad from my mom's room, put ketchup on it, and then throw it in the living room and run and say that my sister had a mistake. Yeah, fucked up. I didn't know what I was doing. I just was trying to make a joke. So if anyone wants to go on this time machine and cancel 9-year-old Michael, it's hard. But how do you reconcile with fucking up in the past? I'm not sure, man. I'm really not sure. How do you do it? I'm not sure. I first learned about accountability when I was younger with cancel culture, being an activist-y person. And unlike most people, and especially comedians, I think there are clearly good things about cancel culture. Some good things, Like, it's important to talk about rape culture. I'd never heard of that until cancel culture when I was a little younger. It's important to have accountability for powerful figures in a public forum, a public discussion. But along the way, I started to notice some things that were kind of weird about cancel culture. I noticed that you could either be the one canceling or the one getting canceled. There's no in between. There's no nuance. And I noticed a few other things, I noticed that with fear making you want to cancel people, sometimes it had a little bias, maybe? Like who was the one getting canceled, how to talk. I noticed that a lot of people in power were calling the shots. It makes it kind of hard. At this point, I am more nervous about coming out as a Dave Chappelle fan to my white activist friends than I am as kind of queer to my pastor uncle. Uncle Patrick, when you see this, I'm queer, I identify as Omaha straight. I think a dick like calamari. If I'm in Omaha and eating calamari, it's probably translucent, stinky. I'm good. But if I'm on this coast, nigga, I see that seasoned, darkened meat, I might have to test out my deep throating. I heard you put your pinky under your ring finger. And if there are any niggas that feel weird about this, no homo. Hey, Mike, no homo. No homo. It's not gay if it's hypothetical. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I'm cool. But I think about masculinity a lot. I do. I think about masculinity all the fucking time. I can't dunk. What else am I gonna do? Man, if I could dunk, I would be so brand new with everyone in here. It's probably good for the culture that I can't dunk. But I think about masculinity a lot. I do. I think about it in movies. I recently saw Godfather for the first time. That's some good white culture. It's like one of the 3 good white cultures, Because usually when people talk about white stuff like the Beatles, it's just like, it kind of reminds me how a lot of people in the world eat Big Macs. So because it has high sales, you think Big Macs are the best food in the world? But Godfather was cool. It was tight, man. I saw it in theater, but their male relationships blew my mind. Because in one scene, you would just have Don Corleone be like, I'm sorry, too. Don Corleone would just be like, quit complaining about it and be a fucking man. Now kiss my ring. I think about it with music, too. I do. I listen to hip hop a lot. It's crazy, when you hear a car that vibrates the building. I hope that nigga has health insurance for his ears. God damn. Fucking Helen Keller over here. No? Too soon? All right. He's gonna be deaf. But I think about it with music too. I do. I listen to hip hop quite a bit. I do not think hip hop is any more sexist than other types of music. But gangster rap... Let's just say that Bell Hooks did not have a feature on Doggy Style by Snoop Dogg. You know, I be listening to that shit a lot, hoping that the beats stay within me, but the lyricism doesn't. You know, and I was listening to this one song that really fucking blew my mind. You know? Yo, Crappy and Gucci, can you play that shit?
It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun. Guess who's back in the motherfucking house with the fat dick for your motherfucking mouth?
Two things. Number one, my shirt is untucked. Number two, I definitely did not have music that said Snoop Dogg with a motherfucking dick for your mouth. I'm not getting canceled, you know. Come on, dude. Do better. That's the joke for homies. But that's interesting, right? In case y'all were kind of distracted by this flagrant dancing, the lyrics in the hook say, it ain't no fun if the homies can't have it. That means that an entire production team, writers, Dr. Dre, were just writing a song where it's like, yo, this is fun, but it ain't no fun unless my male friend has sex with this woman after me. This whole time, I'm gonna think about my guy, my nigga, my homie. That's my kink. Fuck yeah, real nigga, West Side. Yo, ain't no fun if the homie can't have it. Nigga, try it, dick. You're like, just try it, cut out the middleman. That's a lot of intentional effort to say I'm not sexually stimulated unless my homies also are. This nigga needs to try some East Coast calamari, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Holla at your boy. You know, but of course I'm not gonna cancel him, you know? It's tricky. It's nuanced. It's a fat beat. It's hard because black men are taught that toxic masculinity can protect us from systemic injustice. You know, we're taught that's our fucking shield from the cops shooting us 9 times. So it's a little different to really, you know, fix this problem. And I think this is my biggest deal with so much of social justice shit, you know? Because people don't have access to education. Of course niggas are gonna say stupid shit when they can get shot for going on a run. You know, you're telling me that I can get canceled when this morning I went on a run to relieve stress and I could have gotten shot. You're telling me that as a 5'4" black man, I can't say midget? Am I canceled? Did I fly too close to the sun? I don't know, man. Maybe I am. I'll find out tomorrow on Twitter, you know. But the biggest idea... I'm fucking around, by the way. The biggest idea is that to learn the correct things to say takes time. It takes energy. I've been in this game since I was a teenager, you know. And I know that it's tricky. Because when you think about it, white privilege is one of the most used terms in social justice talk. But it was made as a term by Peggy McIntosh, a white woman who was a professor that wrote something called The Invisible Knapsack, Exploring White Privilege. Intersectionalism was made by Kimberly Crenshaw, a UCLA lawyer. Black, super cool, but still a fucking lawyer. This highlights that the backbone of activist talk has been created by academic powers. And so it makes sense that people that are getting killed don't have time to learn how to speak correctly. Again, I'm not talking about doing things with behavior. I'm simply referring to saying stupid shit. I'm a comedian. I understand the power of words, but also I understand the power of systemic oppression. Some of my friends really, and I used to be like this. I feel it. I get that we're trying to solve a problem by any means necessary, but sometimes it's not quick and easy. You know, some of my friends remind me of those people that used to shop in Black Friday in person. Just looking around, searching, waiting for the door to open. You know? Isn't that hip mobility impressive? Just looking around. I definitely didn't almost trip. Just looking around. But instead of finding a sofa that is 70% off, they're trying to find the baby saying stupid shit so they can get a cheap discount. You know? And make no mistake, I don't fuck with the baby. I don't like him. But also, he's always been an asshole. If you needed that speech for you to say, fuck the baby, you're kind of playing yourself, you know? It kind of reminds me of people that are surprised that Joe Rogan says stupid shit. Why don't you just not fuck with a nigga? You know? It's hard. It's hard. I get it, but it's hard. It makes me kind of confused. It does, because the rules of the game are, they're hard to calculate, you know? Like Obama. Obama is light-skinned, but his middle name is Hussein. So, you know. There's Islamophobia cancels light-skinnedness a little bit, you know? I love Obama. I really do. I know that's a hot take with white activists, but I love Obama. You know, he did a lot of cool shit. He was intersectional as fuck. He cared about LGBTQ folks, he cared about prison reform, and he loved drones. I mean, he's an American president. Come on, I'm not gonna halo the nigga, you know? But I read his most recent book. You know, it's called The Promised Land. It talks about his political rise. And it blew my mind, you know? The first time I read The Promised Land, I was blown away that the nigga went from running for office for the first time to becoming president in 12 years. The second time I read The Promised Land, I was blown away by the legislative process. How he inherited a failing economy, saved the auto industry, and made the Affordable Care Act, which fundamentally changed how we pay for health care and gave over 20 million people extended lives with insurance. That's crazy. The third time I read The Promised Land, I realized that I have daddy issues. You know, like a nigga has no reason reading The Promised Land 3 times in 1 month unless he's very sad. But what do we do, man? I'm not sure. What do we do? What does democracy mean? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't have the answers to this. But I do know that it means that we gotta, at some level, work with people that say stupid shit. Not do things, but say things. You know, it's hard. It's really hard because democracy is not just a political idea. It's a philosophy. It means that everyone is involved at some level. So how do we measure it out? I'm not sure. I'm really not. But I do know we can agree on some things, right? We can agree that if every person that drove a truck with those balls on the bottom just fucking died, the world would be a better place, right? There's a lot of assault and Klan meetings in those trucks, isn't there? And what do we do? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I just know the answer isn't easy because the problems aren't easy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I really don't. I got some ideas, though. White people, my homies. If you're here, you're my homie. But stop trying to prove that you're a good person. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Stop trying to prove it. Do it. You know, every time you want to cancel someone, use that energy for Thanksgiving. We gotta persuade motherfuckers. Because people that are shitty today, we need their votes in 5 years. You know, I was in a Lyft ride with this lady who was from Council Bluffs. I was very high and very terrified. Fear is in the air. All right. But then we were talking, and then she brought up Prince. And then we had a 20-minute conversation on our mutual love for Prince. White people, focus on that group. If you care, it's not easy shit. It's not supposed to be easy. My colored homies that aren't black, listen. White power structures are going to do everything in their power to make you think you're white in the next few years. But they're not going to give you the privilege of whiteness. They're just going to give you the privilege of fucking over black people. All right? So if you care, be mindful of that. Black homies in the house. See a counselor. You know, and to my black men in the house, remember, to care for black people includes LGBTQ black people. You know? It does. You can't pick and choose. Any niggas that treat women like shit or LGBTQ folks like shit are doing the white man's work for them. You're making it easier. So just take a deep breath and remember that all black people matter. Because I have faith. You know, for me personally, I choose culture. You know, I thought about running for office. That's not me, but it is other great people here tonight. You know? It's not me. But we gotta do our part because we gotta change. I believe in culture because culture has helped black people forever. Billie Holiday made Strange Fruit talking about lynchings at the same time that FDR refused to support anti-lynching laws. I guess he didn't walk the walk. Polio? No? All right. My bad. Sorry. All right, my bad. All right. Cancel me. Crucify me. That was the line. Here's the line, and here you just crossed it. Am I TV fans? Nope. All right. Coach Hines forever, baby. But we gotta do something, you know? And for me, that's my role. Because we gotta change how allyship looks. Allyship can be as simple as being an iceberg in the Northern Pacific in 1912 and drowning a lot of racist motherfuckers. Oh, Titanic's too soon? All right. I can't think of a time where people have died off of a ship on the Atlantic. Slavery, that's the joke. Slavery. I can't. But I believe in us, man. I believe in us, and I'm not afraid. Because we gotta let fear die. We gotta let fear die. The fact that we're here tonight, supporting each other. My homies are making this event happen. I'm talking, but they're filming. I believe that we will win. You know? I have no faith. I'm a nigga with a dream. Of course, I have faith. And so, I'd like to end the night by just saying, take a look in the mirror. Inhale and exhale. And remember, you got this! Yes, sir. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone! Give it up for Culture House! Give it up for my homies!
It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. It ain't no fun. Guess who's back in the motherfucking house with the fat dick for your motherfucking mouth?